Have you ever wanted to say something so powerful that a man would think about you forever? Not because of manipulation, but because you spoke directly to his soul. There is a way to leave an unforgettable impact. And today I'm going to tell you exactly what to say and why it works. Men aren't just drawn to beauty or charm. They're moved by words that resonate with their deepest instincts. They long for respect, admiration, and a sense of purpose. When you understand this, you can say something that echoes in their mind long after you're gone. It's not about flattery. It's about truth, confidence, and the right delivery. Let's break it down into 6 key points. Men thrive on belief. When you tell a man, "I believe in you," you're doing more than offering encouragement. You're reinforcing his identity as someone capable, strong, and valuable. In a world that constantly challenges him, doubts him, and pressures him to perform, your belief in him becomes an anchor. Most men are taught from a young age that their worth is tied to what they achieve. They are expected to be strong, to lead, to succeed, and to never show weakness. But the truth is, every man, no matter how confident or powerful he appears, has moments of doubt. He wonders if he's good enough, if he's making the right decisions, if he has what it takes to overcome obstacles. And this is where your words hold immense power. When you look into a man's eyes and say, "I believe in you," you're doing something extraordinary. You're not just acknowledging his potential. You're affirming it. You're telling him that even when he feels uncertain, even when the world seems against him, there is at least one person who sees his greatness, who trusts his ability to rise above challenges. That belief, it fuels him. It pushes him to step up, to strive for more, to prove, not just to you, but to himself, that he is exactly the man you see him to be. But here's the key. It has to be genuine. A man can sense empty words. Saying you believe in him means nothing if your actions contradict it. You must truly see his strengths, recognize his efforts, and understand the weight he carries. When you express belief in him, make it personal. Instead of just saying, "I believe in you," say, "I believe in you because I see how hard you work, how dedicated you are, how much you care. I know you're capable of handling whatever comes your way." Men are often reluctant to share their struggles because they fear judgment or rejection. They don't always verbalize their fears, but they feel them deeply. Your belief in him gives him permission to trust himself. It reminds him that even when life is tough, he is not alone. He has someone in his corner, someone who sees him not for what he lacks, but for what he is capable of becoming. And here's the most powerful part: when a man knows that you truly believe in him, it transforms the way he sees you. You become the person he doesn't want to disappoint, the voice in his mind that keeps him moving forward. Your words don't just stay in the moment, they stay with him forever. So if you want to leave an unforgettable mark on a man's heart, don't just admire him, don't just compliment him, believe in him. That belief has the power to change his life. Respect is one of the most powerful forces in a man's life, more than admiration. Respect is what fuels him. It's what makes him feel valued, seen, and worthy. You're giving him something that most people never dock. Recognition for his strength, his decisions, and the burdens he carries in silence. Men are expected to be problem solvers. Society tells them that their worth is measured by how well they provide, protect, and perform under pressure. But what few people realize is that men rarely get acknowledged for the weight they carry. They are constantly navigating stress, responsibility, and expectations, often without any appreciation. And that's why respect is so powerful. When you tell a man, "I respect the way you handle things," you are validating his effort. You are telling him that you see the way he navigates life's challenges, the way he keeps pushing forward even when things get tough. This isn't just about big achievements like career success or financial stability. It's about the way he shows up, the way he makes decisions, the way he takes care of the people he loves. But here's the key: respect must be real. A man can tell when words are empty. If you truly want to leave an impact, you have to be specific. Instead of just saying, I respect you, go deep. Say, I respect how you always find a way to handle things, no matter how difficult they get. I respect your ability to stay calm under pressure. I respect the way you never give up. When you say this, you're not just flattering him, you're reinforcing his sense of identity. And here's something most people overlooks. Respect isn't just about praising his successes. It's about standing by him in his struggles. A man feels truly respected when he knows that even in his weakest moments, you still see his strength. When life knocks him down, when he's uncertain, when he makes mistakes, if you still show him respect, he will never forget it. Many women wonder why men pull away or become emotionally distant. Often, it's because they feel disrespected in ways that are not always obvious. Disrespect isn't just about insults or criticism. It's about the little things. It's about rolling your eyes at his ideas, questioning his decisions without reason, or dismissing his feelings. If a man feels that his thoughts, choices, or struggles are not valued, he will retreat. On the other hand, when a man feels respected, he opens up. He becomes more present, more confident, and more connected. He feels safe with you. Not in a weak way, but in a way that allows him to be his best self. A respected man is a man who thrives, who leads, who loves with his full heart. So if you want a man to think about you forever, don't just love him. Respect him. Recognize his efforts. Acknowledge his struggles. Let him know that you see his strength, even when he doesn't. Because when you do, you become the one person in his life that he never wants to let go of. Every man, whether he realizes it or not, has a deep instinctive desire to protect and provide. It's not just about physical strength. It's about emotional security, stability, and leadership. When you say to a man, you make me feel safe, you're speaking directly to this core part of his identity. You are telling him that his presence, his decisions, and his actions give you a sense of security that no one else does. And that is something he will never forget. Most men go through life feeling like they have to be strong, always in control, always capable. But here's the truth. Men are rarely told they are enough. They are rarely reassured that what they do matters. So when you say, you make me feel safe, you're not just giving him a compliment. You are validating his purpose. You are telling him that who he is and what he does has real, tangible value in your life. But what does safety really mean? It's more than just physical protection. It's about the way he makes you feel when you're around him. It's about the way he listens to you, the way he supports you when things get tough, the way he steps up when you need him. It's about knowing that he will stand by you, that he will be there when it matters, that he won't abandon you when life gets difficult. When you tell a man that he makes you feel safe, you're telling him that his presence brings you peace. And that is powerful. Because deep down, every man wants to be more than just desired. He wants to be needed in a meaningful way. He wants to know that his efforts to protect, to lead, to support are not taken for granted. But here's the key. This only works if it's true. If you don't actually feel safe with him, if he doesn't show up for you when it matters, then those words lose their impact. But if he does, if he's the man who stands strong when life is chaotic, who keeps his word, who makes you feel secure in his presence, then telling him you make me feel safe will touch him deeper than you can imagine. Men may not always say it, but they notice when their presence is appreciated. They notice when their efforts are recognized. And when they feel valued, they become even more committed, more protective, and more connected. Because the truth is, a man who knows he makes you feel safe will move mountains to keep it that way. So if you want to leave a lasting impact, if you want to be the woman he never forgets, tell him, you make me feel safe. Not just in words, but in the way you look at him, in the way you trust him, in the way you lean on him when it matters. Because when the man knows he is your safe place, you become his forever. Men are wired to work, to build, to create, and to push forward. From an early age, they are taught that their worth is directly tied to what they can achieve, what they can provide, and how much they can endure. But what society often fails to teach them is that their efforts deserve recognition, not just when they reach the top, but in the daily grind, in the struggles, and in the sacrifices they make along the way. That's why the words, "I appreciate your hard work," can have a profound and lasting impact. Most men go through life carrying burdens that few ever see. They work long hours, battle stress, and push themselves to exhaustion, not because they want to, but because they feel they have to. They feel the pressure to provide, to succeed, to be strong, even when they are struggling internally. And what makes it even harder is that their efforts often go unnoticed. People expect men to work hard, to solve problems, to keep things together, but rarely do they stop to acknowledge the toll it takes. That's why appreciation is so powerful. When you tell a man, "I appreciate your hard work," you are doing something that most people never do. You are recognizing his effort, his sacrifice, and his dedication. You're telling him that you see him, not just for what he accomplishes, but for what he endures. And that recognition, that changes everything. Because men don't just want to be loved. They want to know that their hard work isn't in vain, that someone notices, that someone cares. But here's what makes this even more powerful. Appreciation isn't just about the big things. Of course, it's meaningful to acknowledge when a man gets a promotion, builds a business, or achieves a major milestone. But what truly sticks with him is when you appreciate the everyday effort, the things he does without expecting praise. When he fixes something around the house, when he wakes up early to provide, when he pushes through exhaustion to keep going, those are the moments that define his character. And when you recognize those moments, you make him feel seen in a way that no one else does. The key to making this truly impactful is to be specific. Instead of just saying, "I appreciate your hard work," go deeper. Say, "I see how much effort you put into everything you do. I see how hard you work, not just for yourself, but for the people you care about. I see the sacrifices you make, and I want you to know that they don't go unnoticed." When you speak with this level of sincerity, it resonates with a man on a deep emotional level. It tells him that his struggles are not invisible, that his efforts are meaningful, and that he is valued not just for what he does, but for who he is. Men don't often express how much they crave appreciation, but when they receive it, it changes them. A man who feels appreciated works even harder, not out of obligation, but out of inspiration. He feels motivated, not just to succeed, but to continue being the man that you see him as. And this creates a powerful dynamic. A man feels truly valued. He naturally becomes more protective, more giving, and more connected. On the other hand, when a man feels unappreciated, he begins to shut down. He may continue working, continue providing, continue pushing forward, but something inside him changes. He may start to feel like no matter how much he gives, it's never enough. And that feeling can lead to distance, frustration, and even resentment. That's why appreciation is not just a nice gesture. It's essential. Think about it. How often do men hear genuine words of appreciation? Not just a casual thanks, but deep, heartfelt recognition. The truth is, it's rare. But that's what makes it so powerful. When you take the time to acknowledge a man's hard work, when you tell him that you see what he does, that it matters, that it makes a difference, you become unforgettable. Because in a world that constantly demands more from him, you become the one person who truly sees him, who values him, who makes him feel like everything he does is worth it. So if you want to leave an impact, if you want to be the woman he thinks about long after the conversation is over, tell him, "I appreciate your hard work." Not just once, not just when it's convenient, but consistently. Say it when he's exhausted. Say it when he's stressed. Say it when he doesn't expect it. Because when a man feels deeply appreciated, he doesn't just remember you, he cherishes you. And that is the kind of connection that lasts forever. Trust is the foundation of every strong relationship. But for a man, it holds an even deeper meaning. A man's sense of identity is built around his ability to lead, to make decisions, and to navigate challenges. Society places enormous pressure on men to be capable, rational, and dependable. Yet what most people don't realize is that men constantly battle self-doubt. They may not show it, but deep down, they question whether they are making the right choices, whether they are living up to expectations, and whether they are truly capable of leading. That's why the words, "I trust your judgment," are so powerful. When you tell a man that you trust his judgment, you are reinforcing one of the most important aspects of his identity, his ability to think, decide. You're telling him that you see him as strong, capable, and wise, that you believe in his ability to navigate life, not just for himself, but for both of you. And that belief, it has a profound impact on him, because in a world that constantly questions men's choices, your trust stands out. But here's where many people get it wrong. Trust isn't just about agreeing with everything a man says or does. It's about showing him that you have faith in his ability to reason, to assess, and to make the best possible decision. Even when you have a different perspective, trust means that you respect his thought process and that you believe he is capable of making sound choices. That kind of validation is rare, and it's exactly what makes it unforgettable. Men are naturally drawn to women who trust them, because trust is the ultimate sign of respect. When a woman says, "I trust your judgment," she is acknowledging his ability to lead. She is telling him that she doesn't need to control or second guess every decision he makes, because she believes in his wisdom and reasoning. And that belief fuels his confidence, his drive, and his desire to step up even more. But what happens when a man feels distrusted, when every decision he makes is questioned, when every idea he has is met with skepticism, it chips away at his confidence. He starts to feel inadequate, unsure, and hesitant. Over time, this lack of trust can create distance in a relationship. A man who feels that his judgment is always being challenged may stop sharing his thoughts altogether. He may pull back emotionally, feeling as though no matter what he does, it will never be enough. That's why trust is so crucial. When you tell a man, "I trust your judgment," you are giving him the gift of confidence. You are telling him that he is worthy of leading, of making decisions, of being the man he strives to be. And the best part, when a man feels trusted, he naturally becomes more responsible, more thoughtful, and more considerate in his choices. He starts to think not just about what's best for him, but about what's best for both of you. The key to making this statement truly impactful is to be specific. Instead of just saying, "I trust your judgment," tell him why you trust him. Say, "I trust your judgment because you always think things through. You don't make impulsive decisions. You take your time, and that's something I really respect." Or say, "I trust your judgment because you've shown me time and time again that you make choices that are in our best interest." When you say it this way, you are reinforcing his confidence and giving him even more motivation to continue making strong, thoughtful decisions. And here's the most powerful part. Trust creates a cycle. When a man feels trusted, he becomes even more trustworthy. He starts to take his role as a leader more seriously. He becomes more deliberate in his choices, more protective of your well-being, and more invested in the relationship. He doesn't just feel respected. He feels needed in a way that makes him want to give his best. So if you want to leave a lasting impression, if you want to be the woman who stays on his mind, tell him, "I trust your judgment." Say it when he's making a big decision. Say it when he's doubting himself. Say it when he's carrying the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Because when a man feels truly trusted, he doesn't just think about you. He cherishes you. And that kind of trust, that's what builds an unbreakable bond. Every man, at his core, wants to know that his existence has meaning, that his actions, his struggles, and his ambitions are not just for himself, but that they impact and uplift others. Men are constantly searching for purpose, for something greater than themselves. And one of the most profound things a woman can say to a man, is "You inspire me." Why? Because inspiration is about more than just admiration. It's about recognizing his character, his strength, his perseverance, and his vision. When you tell a man, "You inspire me," you are telling him that his efforts are not just seen, but they are felt. You are telling him that his determination, his values, and his way of living influence you in a way that changes how you see the world. And that is something no man ever forgets. Men are rarely told that they are inspiring. They are often appreciated for what they do, their achievements, their successes, their ability to provide. But very few people acknowledge them for who they are. When you tell a man that he inspires you, you are not just complimenting his actions. You are validating his essence, his spirit, and his purpose. You are telling him that he is someone worth looking up to, someone whose life and decisions matter far beyond himself. But here's the catch: the more specific you are, the more powerful your words become. Instead of simply saying, "You inspire me," go deeper. Tell him, say, "You inspire me because you never give up, even when things get hard. The way you handle challenges with strength and determination makes me want to be stronger too." Or say, "You inspire me because of how deeply you care for the people around you. Your kindness and loyalty make me want to be a better person." When you express exactly what about him moves you, it leaves an imprint on his soul. The reason this works so powerfully is that men, even the most confident ones, have moments of doubt. They wonder if they are doing enough, if they are making a difference, if they are truly living up to their potential. And when a woman they respect and care about tells them, "You inspire me," it gives them a renewed sense of purpose. It reminds them that their efforts are meaningful, that their presence matters, that they are leaving a mark not just on the world, but on someone they deeply value. When a man feels like he inspires you, he becomes even more driven to be his best. He doesn't just work hard for himself. He starts to see himself through your eyes, through the impact he has on you, and that changes everything. A man who feels like he is a source of inspiration will naturally step into his highest potential. He will want to grow, to lead, to push past his limits, not out of obligation, but out of a deeper sense of meaning. On the other hand, when a man feels like his efforts don't matter, that no one is truly moved by his work, his values, or his journey, he can start to lose his drive. He may continue doing what is expected of him, but without that spark, without that deep sense of why, he may start to feel lost. That's why acknowledging his inspiration is not just a compliment, it's fuel for his soul. And here's something even more powerful. When you tell a man that he inspires you, you create a bond that is unlike anything else, because inspiration is reciprocal. When you show him that his strength, his courage, his vision have impacted you, it creates a deeper connection between you. He sees you not just as someone who supports him, but as someone who understands him, who recognizes his purpose in a way that few ever do. And that level of connection, that is what makes a man think about you forever. So if you want to be unforgettable, if you want to be the woman who leaves a lasting imprint on his heart and mind, tell him, "You inspire me." Say it when he's facing challenges. Say it when he's achieving great things. Say it when he's just being himself. Because when a man knows that he inspires you, you don't just become another person in his life. You become part of his purpose. And that is a connection that lasts a lifetime. Words matter. When spoken with sincerity, they don't just enter a man's ears, they stay in his mind, in his heart, in his purpose. Say these things not to manipulate, but to uplift. And in doing so, you'll leave an imprint he'll carry forever. Now take a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you truly spoke to the heart of a man?